if you really look at my whole season, I've done a really good job of just, blocking out the outside noise and then just focusing on me, focusing on how I can continue to be the best Melissa that I can be.
The women's 100-meter final in Tokyo was hyped as a dream showdown. Olympic champion Julian Alfred, Jamaica's rising star Tina Clayton, veterans like Sha'Carri Richardson, and the legendary Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. But when the gun fired, the expected battle never came. Instead, Melissa Jefferson-Wooden delivered a stunning performance that shocked the track world. Melissa Jefferson-Wooden launched off the blocks like lightning. By 50 meters, she had built a lead no one could touch. She crossed in 10.61 seconds, a championship record and the fourth fastest time ever run in women's 100-meter history. No athlete had ever gone that fast at a world championships before. The margin was huge. Tina Clayton took silver in 10.76, a personal best. Alfred, hampered by injury, grabbed bronze in 10.84. Sha'Carri Richardson ran 10.94 for fifth. Fraser-Pryce, in her symbolic final world 100 meters, crossed sixth at 11.03. Jefferson-Wooden described the moment simply, "I have been dreaming of this moment. Instead of putting the pressure on myself, I just embraced it. When the gun went off, I thought, come on, get out strong." The rest went like a blink of an eye. This wasn't just one great race, it was the capstone of a flawless season. Jefferson-Wooden hadn't lost a 100-meter all year. She ran under 11 seconds every time. Her consistency was rare. She closed out the season and dominated. "This year was about accepting that I wanted to be a better athlete and putting in the work to do so," she explained. That work clearly paid off. From the first Diamond League meet to the final in Tokyo, she was untouchable. Jefferson-Wooden's rise wasn't sudden. She ran high school sprints in Georgetown, South Carolina, competed at Coastal Carolina University, and gradually climbed the ranks. In 2023, she had a frustrating season without any new personal bests and struggled at the U.S. Nationals, but she refused to lose belief. Her career took a turn when she joined Star Athletics, coached by Dennis Mitchell, where she began training alongside Sha'Carri Richardson. Surrounded by elite athletes and a professional system, Jefferson-Wooden sharpened her skills. She transitioned from a promising collegiate sprinter into a world-class competitor. In 2025, the results spoke for themselves. A season's best of 10.65, consistent sub-11 runs, and a 200-meter time of 21.84 seconds. Those numbers made her not only America's best, but also a global star. Julian Alfred entered Tokyo as the fastest woman in the 200 meters and a major threat in the 100 meters, but a hamstring injury slowed her down. Even though she managed bronze in the 100 meters, she was far from her best. Sha'Carri Richardson, Jefferson-Wooden's training partner, struggled to regain her form from previous years. Her fifth-place finish was respectable, but highlighted her inconsistency. Tina Clayton's silver, however, marked a bright spot for Jamaica. At only 21, she's already running sub 10.8 and looks set to continue her nation's sprinting legacy. "It is a great feeling to put Jamaica back on the podium," she said. Fraser-Pryce's farewell brought raw emotion. At 38, the Mommy Rocket finished sixth, but left the sport with 25 world and Olympic medals, an icon whose influence shaped generations. Jefferson-Wooden's performance in Tokyo lifted her into the company of legends. Florence Griffith-Joyner's 10.49 from 1988 still stands as the world record. Years later, Elaine Thompson-Herah amazed fans with 10.54 in 2021, and Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce showed her brilliance with 10.60 that same season. By joining this elite trio on the all-time list, Jefferson-Wooden proved her speed belongs alongside the greatest sprinters in history. By breaking into this exclusive top four, Jefferson-Wooden didn't just win a championship, she secured her place in the history books. Analysts were quick to ask the inevitable question: could she one day challenge Flojo's controversial 10.49? Jefferson-Wooden herself has already made it clear that she believes the record is within reach. "I thought I had the potential to run 10.5. I was happy with every aspect of the race, but I still wish I had been able to separate a little sooner. And then there's no telling what I could have run." Just a year earlier at the Paris Olympics, Jefferson-Wooden took bronze in the 100 meters behind Alfred and Richardson. For many, that was her breakthrough moment. For Jefferson-Wooden, it was motivation. "I was proud of myself, but I also knew I could have been better," she recalled. She returned home determined to fix weaknesses, sharpen her start, and strengthen her mental approach. The payoff was clear: a world title, a championship record, and a new place among the fastest women ever. Not all of Jefferson-Wooden's season was smooth. Weeks before the championships, Gabby Thomas criticized her coach, Dennis Mitchell, saying doping-linked coaches should be banned for life. Jefferson-Wooden refused to engage. Gabby is entitled to her opinions, but I don't want to talk about that. I surround myself with people who believe in me. The best way for me to respond is to not respond at all. That maturity mirrored the calm she shows on the track. No panic, no distractions, just execution. With Alfred withdrawing from the 200 meters due to injury, Jefferson-Wooden suddenly became the favorite. Her 21.84 season best was the fastest among entrants. If she won, she'd be the first American woman since Allison Felix in 2009 to legally complete the 100-200 sprint double at a World Championships. Her motivation: to prove she's not just a 100-meter specialist. I didn't like to really focus on the extra 100 meters just because it hurts, but eventually I said to myself, if you stop whining and complaining, you can actually be really good at this. And clearly she was right. Jefferson-Wooden's journey shows resilience. Back at the 2022 Eugene World Championships, she finished last in her first major final. Instead of discouraging her, that result lit a fire. That was a moment that definitely defined me, and then my drive ever since then has been shooting for the stars. The bronze medal at Paris 2024, along with relay gold, validated her rise. But 2025 was the year she transformed from contender into champion. Jefferson-Wooden's success isn't just raw talent. Her training emphasizes explosive starts, top-end speed, and smooth transitions. Sports scientists note that consistent sub-11 performances require not only physical ability, but precise biomechanics. She has mastered that balance. Her technique, low drive phase, controlled acceleration, and upright sprinting form mirrors the style of legends like Fraser-Pryce. Combined with strength training and recovery protocols, Jefferson-Wooden is setting new performance standards. With Fraser-Pryce retiring and Richardson struggling, the women's 100-meter landscape is shifting. Jamaica's future rests on Tina Clayton and her twin Tia. The U.S. now has Jefferson-Wooden leading the charge. At just 24, she's young enough to aim for multiple Olympics, including LA 2028 and Brisbane 2032. Her win in Tokyo wasn't just about gold, it symbolized a transition. The old guard is fading, and Jefferson-Wooden is stepping into the spotlight as the new leader. The question now isn't whether she can win again. It's whether she can chase down the greatest record of them all. And after what we just witnessed in Tokyo, nothing seems impossible.
Got company. Clayton going well to her side, but Melissa Jefferson-Wooden streaks away in the closing stages. 10:61.
This 24-year-old girl from a small South Carolina town once put her athletic dreams on hold to save her father's life. 7 years later, she just ran the fourth fastest time in women's 100-meter history and absolutely destroyed the best sprinters on the planet. On Sunday night at the World Athletics Championships, Melissa Jefferson-Wooden didn't just win the women's 100 meters. She completely destroyed the field with a performance that sent shockwaves through the athletics world. Running 10.61 seconds, she set a new championship record and became the fourth fastest woman in history. But this story goes way deeper than just fast times. 7 years ago, Jefferson-Wooden made a choice that changed everything. When she was just 17, her father was diagnosed with a rare blood condition that threatened his life. Without hesitation, she stepped forward as a stem cell donor, putting her sporting dreams on hold for 2 years to save the man who raised her. That decision, made in a small seaport town called Georgetown in South Carolina, would shape the champion we saw dominating in Tokyo. Fast forward to 2025, and Jefferson-Wooden entered these world championships as the hunter, not the hunted. She'd never won an individual global title before, despite winning bronze at the Paris Olympics and helping Team USA claim gold in the relay. All season long, she'd been perfect in the 100 meters. Not once had she lost. Not once had she even run slower than 11 seconds. The girl from Georgetown had turned herself into an unstoppable force. The build-up to Sunday's final was intense. Jefferson-Wooden wasn't just running fast times randomly. She'd lowered her personal best by nearly 0.2 of a second this season after dealing with injuries in 2024. She'd completely changed her approach to training, working with a chef and even giving up her beloved Culver's burgers. Every detail mattered now. Standing in her way was a loaded field. Julian Alfred, the Olympic champion from St. Lucia, had been talking confidently about adding another gold to her collection. The defending world champion Sha'Carri Richardson was desperate to bounce back from a tough season. Jamaica's Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, the 38-year-old legend with 10 world sprint titles, was making her final individual appearance before retirement. And then there was 21-year-old Tina Clayton from Jamaica, representing the next generation of Caribbean sprinting. The semifinal showed us exactly what was coming. While Alfred looked comfortable posting the fastest qualifying time, Jefferson-Wooden responded with the fastest semifinal time of 10.73, and she made it look easy. Richardson had her own drama, stumbling badly at the start and falling meters behind before using her famous top-end speed to qualify in third place. But Sunday's final belonged to one person from the moment the gun fired. Alfred actually had the fastest reaction time at 0.169 seconds, but something was wrong. She'd pulled her hamstring during warm-ups, and you could see it affecting her from the first few steps. Meanwhile, Jefferson-Wooden exploded from the blocks like she'd been shot from a cannon. By the 50-meter mark, she was in complete control. What happened next was pure domination. Jefferson-Wooden didn't just run away from the field, she floated away from them. As the race unfolded, it became clear that nobody was going to catch the American. She opened up a gap that kept growing with every stride. When Jefferson-Wooden crossed the finish line, the numbers on the scoreboard told the whole story: 10.61 seconds, a new championship record, the fourth fastest time in history. She'd beaten second place by 0.15 seconds, which is a massive margin in sprinting. For context, that's the second biggest winning margin in World Championships history. After the race, Jefferson-Wooden could barely contain her emotions. She admitted that once she got out ahead, the rest of the race felt like it went by in a blink of an eye. When she crossed the line, her first thought was simply, "Oh wow, I won." Then she saw her time and reality hit her. She'd just run 10.61 and become a world champion. The podium told the story of sprinting's changing landscape. Clayton took silver with a personal best of 10.76, becoming the youngest ever medalist in the women's 100 at a World Championships. At just 21, she proved that Jamaica's sprinting factory is still producing incredible talent. Alfred managed bronze despite her injury, running 10.84 and securing St. Lucia's first ever World Championships medal. Richardson, the defending champion, could only manage fifth place with 10.94. It was her first time under 11 seconds all season, but it wasn't nearly enough. Jackson finished fourth in 10.88, while the great Fraser-Pryce ended her individual career with sixth place in 11.03. The crowd gave the Jamaican legend the biggest cheers of the night as she was introduced, recognizing a true icon of the sport. What makes Jefferson-Wooden's performance even more remarkable is the journey that brought her here. This is someone who describes herself as a village kid from Georgetown, South Carolina. She had just 2 partial college scholarship offers before making it to Coastal Carolina. When her father got sick, she didn't hesitate to put everything on hold to help save his life. That decision shaped who she became as both a person and an athlete. When asked about her mindset, Jefferson-Wooden talks about discipline and doing the extra work needed to achieve your goals. She completely changed her lifestyle this season, working with a chef and focusing on every detail of her preparation. The numbers from her 2025 season are just incredible. She went undefeated in both the 100 and 200 meters. She had multiple races where she ran sub 10.8 times into strong headwinds. At the U.S. Championships, she ran 10.65 to equal what was then the 6th fastest time in history. She'd been building toward this moment all year. But success also brought challenges. Working with coach Dennis Mitchell, Jefferson-Wooden faced criticism from some quarters. Her teammate Gabby Thomas had posted on social media that doping coaches should be banned for life, a clear reference to Mitchell's past issues with performance-enhancing drugs. When asked about these comments after her victory, Jefferson-Wooden refused to engage with the controversy. She simply said she surrounds herself with people who believe in her and support her growth as an athlete. The performance in Tokyo puts Jefferson-Wooden in rare company. She's now the fastest American woman alive, surpassing Carmelita Jeter on the all-time list. Only 3 women in history have run faster: Florence Griffith-Joyner with her world record of 10.49, Elaine Thompson-Herah with 10.54, and Fraser-Pryce with 10.60. When asked if she might one day chase FloJo's world record, Jefferson-Wooden didn't rule it out, saying that Griffith-Joyner has put a number out there that's definitely worth chasing. The same evening also saw Jamaica's Oblique Seville win the men's 100 in 9.77, with Usain Bolt watching from the stands as his countryman became the first Jamaican man to win a global 100-meter title since Bolt himself in 2015. It was a night that showcased both the past and future of sprinting. For Jefferson-Wooden, this is just the beginning. She's entered in the 200 meters later this week, where she has the second fastest time in the world this year. She's aiming to become just the second woman in 30 years to complete the 100 to 200 double at a world championships. The last to do it was Fraser-Pryce herself back in 2013. After years of being the hunter, Jefferson-Wooden is now the hunted. But based on what we saw in Tokyo, that target might be exactly where she wants it. Georgetown, South Carolina, already named a day in her honor after the Olympics. They might need to make it a week after this performance. This wasn't just a victory, this was a statement that American sprinting has a new queen, and she's just getting started. Faith Kipyegon's powerful message is breaking the internet, but it's not just about medals. What she said could change the way young girls everywhere look at their future. Faith Kipyegon, the undisputed queen of middle-distance running, is heading to the Tokyo World Championships with history in her sights. Already a double Olympic and world champion, Kipyegon is chasing a rare and ambitious goal: to defend both her 1,500 meters and 5,000 meters titles, a feat no athlete has ever repeated at the world level. But for Kipyegon, Tokyo is about more than medals. Speaking to reporters ahead of the championships, she explained her philosophy simply. It's a mindset, also about preparation and being patient. It's all about what you want to achieve for the next generation to look up to you. For her, every stride is a message not just to competitors, but to young girls everywhere who see her as proof that dreams are worth chasing. From the start of her career, Kipyegon made it evident that she was not chasing short-term victories. Her training philosophy has always been rooted in consistency, not just bursts of brilliance. She believes that the difference between being good and being great is the mindset one brings to the track every single day. She has often repeated that success is not built overnight, it's a result of mental focus layered over years of work. That perspective has carried her to the very top of world athletics. Her mindset is not about chasing perfection, but about managing challenges with patience. In interviews leading up to Tokyo, she said that it takes years to reach the point where results reflect the work. She explained that even when form isn't perfect, or when a race doesn't go her way, she keeps faith in the process. That patience has been one of her strongest weapons, separating her from competitors who may look for instant results. Preparation is another cornerstone of her success. Faith Kipyegon does not train with the short-term goal of a single championship. Her preparation spans cycles carefully designed to peak when it matters most. She has spoken about how every run, every gym session, every recovery plan is mapped out with discipline. This preparation is not glamorous, but it is relentless. It's what allows her to line up at the start line knowing that she has done everything possible to be ready. The results of that preparation have been historic. In 2023, she set the 1,500-meter world record with a time of 3 minutes 48.68 seconds, a performance that stunned the athletics world. Breaking a barrier that had stood for years was not just about physical ability. It was the culmination of patience, training, and mindset aligning at the perfect moment. It was a record that validated her philosophy, proving that discipline pays off. But Faith Kipyegon is not defined by records alone. At the Nike Breaking 4 event, she attempted to run a sub-4-minute mile, something no woman has ever done. She crossed the line in 4:06, falling short of the barrier. Yet what stood out was not the result, but her response. Instead of disappointment, she spoke about the courage to attempt it and how trying itself pushes the sport forward. Her message was that failure does not define champions' attempts. By daring to try, she created belief not only in herself, but also in other women who will attempt the same milestone in the future. Her story is also defined by resilience off the track. After giving birth to her daughter, many doubted whether she could return to her best. Yet she came back stronger, adding more medals and records to her name. She has spoken openly about that journey, emphasizing that motherhood is not the end of a career, but another chapter that requires balance and patience.